I'm Bill McMinn, Senior Pastor of Eagleville Bible Church. This is the Way to Go podcast. Steve Sargent along with me from the Hiawatha Church of God in Christ.
Yes.
Assistant pastor.
Yes, sir.
He's the assistant pastor. But I said, you're the pastor.
No.
You're a pastor.
Yes.
Okay, there you go. You know what I'm saying? I can say, like, Mark's a pastor at this church. I'm a pastor at this church. You're a pastor.
Cool. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's one way to look at it.
You're a shepherd.
Yep.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you're here, by the way.
I'm glad to be here.
Dude, it's been a while.
I know it has.
It really has. You know what? I think that we have not done a show together for so long that I haven't even thought that we're already done 11 weeks in the NFL, and your precious Steelers are 10-0.
Oh, wow. I almost
Are they
forgot all
11-0?
about that.
10-0?
10-0.
11-0. Because they had a bye week, so it's 10. Even though
we're
week 11,
10.
10-0.
Yeah, they play tomorrow, well, Thanksgiving night.
Really? Who they playing?
The Ravens. If the Ravens can hold up, they're having some COVID issues.
Oh, COVID issues.
So they might have to postpone it.
There you go, bringing up COVID. I'm so glad you did. No one's really talking about it.
Yeah.
Oh, man, it's all we talk about, I think, sometimes. But it is a big issue in the county. Obviously, a huge spike in the state, huge spike in our county. I think we've been up 500 and some cases in 7 days. That's a lot.
Yep, that is for our size. It is.
For the first 7, 8 months, it was 100 every month. We'd have like 100 this month, 100 this month, 100 this month. Then I saw one day it was like 100 a day. So obviously it's something that there is a wave that has hit the county. So if you're out there, be careful. Just be cognizant of people with sniffles and sinus infections, and run away. You know, that's my advice.
Run away.
Get away. You don't want to get sick. So I'm not worried about all these things. I've already had it. So I've had it. I've been through it. I ran 3 miles today. I've been back. This is my second week back running again. I feel pretty normal.
That's good.
I feel as normal as Bill feels. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I was thinking something like that, but I wasn't going to say it, but you said it. Okay.
all right, well, you know, I talked to somebody just last night, Steve, and I'm just listening to them talk. It's actually the inspiration for the show, and good friend. And they were worried about going away for Thanksgiving. Maybe not even going away. I mean, maybe it's a half hour, an hour away. They're going to go see one of their children. So, well, what if I go and what if they're sick? What if I get sick? What is my employer going to say? Because my employer doesn't really want us going with this and that. And I'm just listening to all these concerns. What if this? What if this? What if this? And I just finally told my friend, you've got to stop trying to manage every variable. We don't control every variable that there is. You got to live the way you're going to live, and what's going to happen is going to happen. You do the best that you can. You don't try to control. Man, you try to control every little thing that's going on around you, you're going to drive yourself crazy.
Yes.
I think so.
There's an old expression I heard. It says, do the best you can with what you have where you are.
Right.
And that's really all we can do. And we should do. We should, if she's going to do that, if she's
Could you repeat that?
Do the best you can with what you have where you are.
Good.
And that's all we can do, really. Take whatever precaution necessary.
Right.
But if it's that big of an issue and you feel that uncomfortable about doing it, don't do it.
Right.
And the next thing is, if you go, do all the things you can to maybe reduce the chances of somebody being exposed.
Oh, I think certainly. I think what the state's saying in a lot of ways, you know, I do agree with what they're saying. Small gatherings is going to spread COVID. There's no doubt about it. This is logical, and I've been waiting for this COVID to get logical the whole time, and now it is. It's definitely 1 + 1 = 2. I see it. I've been looking at the math the whole time. I believe the math. I see the math going up. That's believable to me. Right. I mean, I don't deny it. I don't even try to get around. I'm like, yeah, we got a math problem. You know what I'm saying? Numbers going up. And by the way, I just want to point out that it only took us less than 4 minutes to get a quote out of you. I like getting quotes out of you as a good quote, and it was less than 4 minutes in. And I noted it on the clock. I'm like, that was about 3 minutes and 45 seconds in. Doing pretty good. Got a quote out of Steve. That's what I want. I love him. You have more quotes than anyone I know.
I don't know. I've done that for a long time.
Dude, you're a thesaurus of good quotes. I love it. It's great. But anyway, here's what I heard too about COVID. You know, you talk about trying to control variables. You know, the government clamps down on restaurants and bars, and a lot of the states are shutting them down today.
Yeah.
So right before Thanksgiving, you know, I would think people want to get food, especially Thanksgiving. You're thinking about food, so we're going to shut down the restaurants and the bars. But they did a study in LA, and they tracked like 4,000 some cases around Los Angeles to see where the COVID was coming from, and they found that only 3% were coming from bars and restaurants. And most of the restaurants they were coming from was McDonald's, Panda Express, Subway. I mean, listen, I thought every McDonald's, everyone. Don't feel I'm picking on certain fast food restaurants. It was every fast food restaurant pretty much was on the list. 7% of COVID cases, twice as many COVID cases came from the government.
Really?
Yes. Out of those 4,000 traces. So is anyone saying shut down the government? Maybe. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, well, if we're doing the logic and you want to shut down the bars, they're 3% of your cases, you're going to shut down bars and restaurants, any food place, and the government's over 7% of your cases. Maybe. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's not a big leap of logic, right? And I say this, hey, tongue in cheek. You don't need to show this to the governor of every state. I'm goofing around, okay? If you don't know me, I'm just tongue in cheek. I'm just goofing around with it. But people are trying to, even the government is trying to control all the variables. People try to control all the variables. And sometimes you got to live with the fact you just can't.
Yeah. I think, I've been in debates with some of the governor's decisions on, how to control it in Ohio, some of the decisions he made, because it impacts all of us, whatever decisions he makes. And I may agree or disagree with some, but the thing is, I asked one person, we had a debate the other day. I said, well, what do you want him to do? Like, just say, hey, be careful and just go on about your life. As the leader, he has to do something. And I'm not saying it's always right or it's always fair, but I would rather a leader err on the side of caution, trying to save people's lives or prevent a spread, than to just sit back and say, oh, well, que sera, sera, whatever will be.
I think that when you say that small gatherings are spreading it, you're onto something because we've seen it. I got it by riding in a car with somebody. I was in a small confined space.
Now, you haven't ridden with me.
What's that?
You haven't ridden with me.
I have not ridden with you. And I'm the same person for you to be around right now because I've already had it, so I can't really give it to you.
Okay.
So sorry, you missed your opportunity, Steve. Okay, you missed it. You had your chance.
Haven't. I've got a lot more people.
But no, I never had a problem with it. I felt that it's the prerogative of leadership to err. I mean, you're not always gonna be right. And so it's, you got to try something. And so I don't have a problem with some of the stuff that he's trying. And I also don't have a problem with the hilarious memes that people make about it, because I think that's funny too. But I think he's right in what he's saying. I think realistically, people are still going to get together for Thanksgiving. At least a lot of them will. It'll slow down some, but a lot of people are still going to get together. I think that a wise thing to be saying would be like, listen, if you're at a Thanksgiving gathering and little Johnny says they woke up with a fever or headache or what, be careful, because that kid, COVID is of this latest batch of COVID that's in the state, wave 3. What my experience has been is it's highly contagious. Yeah. So, I mean, I think there's a threat. Now, we've had a lot of it in our church. Most people are better by now. Most people didn't have a problem with it, but some did.
Yeah.
I call it like you're playing Russian roulette with COVID, because you just don't know what kind. Like some people, it affects them in dire ways. I mean, a very small percentage, but when you're part of that very small percentage, it's everything to you. You know what I'm saying? So, I try to be sensitive to that. Yeah, I mean, for me, I had mild or moderate cases, symptoms. Most people do, but I'm not going to dismiss the 6 people that I knew that were in the hospital that are friends of mine I love very much. Right. So I'm not going to dismiss that they had a pretty bad experience with it. So, I think it's part of it. But on the other hand, you can't control all of it. And I don't think that we should sit around all day wondering, like everyone we see, like we're paranoid, like, did they have it? Right. Did they have it? Did they have it? Just live your life. It says this in Matthew 6:27. Can any of you by worrying add a single hour to your life? No. Matthew 6:33-34. Seek first his kingdom, his righteousness. All these things will be given to you as well. Therefore, don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. Right?
That's right.
So there it is. Like, don't be worried about tomorrow. Don't be trying to manage all these things, trying to figure all these things out. You live your life. You do the best you can. You think you need to wear a mask everywhere? Then wear a mask everywhere. But I would make it a good one. Don't wear the neck gaiter I wear. It's not going to help you. It's not going to protect you.
Wear a Pittsburgh Steeler mask.
Do you have one?
Yes. I didn't wear it today, but I do have.
All right, how thick is it? Is it like big, thick, or is it a neck
No,
gaiter?
I have 2 different kinds, and they're made out of, they're both good, but the one, it hurts my ears. Okay. So I can't wear that too long.
You have sensitive ears, right? So really, it's a hey, you got to make a decision every day. I get sore ears or I get COVID. I mean, that's what it comes down to.
I just wear a different one. I got more than one.
Listen, I said all along, I'm going to live my life the way that I normally live at, and I got COVID. So I didn't stop. I'm going to go places. I actually got it going to see the Ohio Reformatory, which I wouldn't trade in that day that I had with my friends. I had it.
But you turned out all right. I mean, you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I'm back to running.
You weren't in
I
the
feel,
hospital.
No. I feel 100%. I feel.
And you are. You exercise. You're a relatively healthy guy. Unfortunately, the people that I know that passed from it, most of them weren't. They weren't very healthy. Some of them were elderly. Most of them were elderly. But some of them had other issues, heart issues, kidney problems already, and it just exasperated.
Some of the oldest people in our church that got it breezed right through it easier than I did.
Yeah.
That's a fact. They had less symptoms than I did. I didn't even think it was fair, but life's not fair. You know what I'm saying? Let's face it, it's not. But I've said all along, I'm going to live the way that I want to live. I got sick. I got through it. If it happens to you, if you got sick, I would bring you chicken noodle soup. I'd bring you whatever kind of soup you like. You know what I'm saying? Seriously. I would check in on you. I probably would write to you every day. How you doing today? How you doing today? How you doing today? I'd be checking on you all the time. If you needed me to run to get you something, I would go be getting it. I appreciate
that.
You know what I'm saying?
I hope to God you never have to, but I
do.
That.
But you know what? With as active a lifestyle as you have and as many people as you're around, you might.
Yeah, I know.
And you know what? Hopefully you'll be just like me and you're going to get through it and you're going to be just fine. But we can't worry about it at every second. We can't duck and hide in our basement forever. I don't think. My dad said, he would talk to me, Bill, son, you cannot what if yourself to death. And I think sometimes we're so what if, we're just paralyzed by it. I can think about, I go kayaking when I know there's storms coming through. Now, if it's a lot of lightning they're predicting, I don't go. But I can't go out there and worry about, how big is the wind going to get? How big is that wave going to get? It's like, I can't what if myself to death. I'm going out here for a reason because I want that big sky. I want that break. I want to see the break between the clouds and the sun. I want to see it pass through because it's amazing. So I want to do it. I can't what if. What if I get robbed? Well, I got robbed one time and I lost my camera equipment, but guess what? I still take my camera equipment out. I still take pictures. I can't worry about it. Yeah, one time I got robbed down in Philadelphia. It happened to me. My camera was on my back and my best lens. They stole everything else. Wow. And I had to replace all those things. I had one camera got swamped by a storm surge. I bought a new camera. It's even more expensive. I took it out on my kayak every time as long as I was on my normal kayak. I still took it out. I didn't quit doing what I normally do just because I had a couple bad experiences.
So are you the person in the scary movie that hears the noise in the basement, you're going to go see what it is?
I don't think so.
You're going to go figure out what's that noise? Let me go down and investigate.
I'd probably get a gun. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I am that guy. But I'm the guy that within reason isn't afraid to get out there for sure.
There's a certain amount of risk with things we do all the time. I don't think we look at it like that.
Right.
But there is.
Right. You drive in your car, that might be a risk.
Yes.
Anything you do has a certain amount of risk, and without risk, there's no reward.
Right.
I mean, if you're not willing to take a certain risk at some point, there's also no reward. I had to run. I've not had a chance to go see the doctor since I had COVID. I heard sometimes it can affect your heart, and my at-rest heart rate is 5 beats per minute higher than it used to be, higher than it's been for the whole last year, for the whole last month. It is. I don't know why. I have no idea why it's higher. I could say maybe because I haven't run so much. I don't know. I'll find out. You know what I mean? As I go forward, it's either going to come down or it's not. And I'll go to the doctor and I'll ask about it. I ran that by a nurse and she laughed. She goes, seriously, your at-rest heart rate is 64, 63, and that's what you're worried about, Bill? Seriously? She goes, that's still low. Do you understand it? I'm like, but it's not as low as
you run
a
lot. But you probably couldn't run while you were sick, did you?
No, but I can't control that, though. Yeah. No. I can't. No, I ran once when I had it.
Okay.
And my wife said it was an extremely bad idea.
Do you run like year-round in the winter and everything?
Oh, yeah. If it's not below, if it's 17 or higher, I'm running. It doesn't matter. Every month. I never stop running. And I hate running on treadmill, so I was running outside. So, yeah, I keep going. But I can't worry about it, every variable. What if you have a heart problem? I still got to run. Man, I ran my 3rd mile today. I ran hard. And I got that heart rate up. Why am I trying to get that heart rate up? And why am I trying? I'm huffing and puffing like a racehorse coming down that last mile because I want my heart rate back down where it belongs. So maybe I'm trying to control the variables. I don't know. So, but you control what you control and you leave the rest to God. And I don't think we should try to figure it all out. Man, life is uneven. And one thing that COVID teaches us once again is how uneven life really is. It's always been uneven. Ever since I've been in ministry, I've seen young people die and older people want to die, can't die.
Yeah.
And I've seen younger people get cancer and get sick and stricken down. COVID is the same thing. It's just a reminder of the same thing we've always seen. You can't make sense of it. You don't know why it hits one person harder than another person. You just don't know. Now, on average, people die older.
Right.
With COVID, that's true. Average age of death is 80. Doesn't mean younger people don't get it.
Right.
Average age of life expectancy in America is what, 75, 76?
No, it's about 80.
Okay, it's about 80.
Point something,
right.
I think.
Okay, so the average age is just like COVID, right? What's the average age of death in COVID? 80. So what's the average life expectancy? 80. Doesn't mean everyone's going to live to 80 because life is uneven. And I've always known this to be true. And it says in Ecclesiastes 8, I'm telling you, Steve, I love this verse. Solomon said, when I applied my mind to know wisdom and observed the labor that is done on earth, people getting no sleep day or night, then I saw all that God has done. No one can comprehend what goes on under the sun, despite all their efforts to search it out. No one can discover its meaning, even if the wise claim they know. They can't really comprehend it. I love that. You're never going to figure it all out.
That's
and
right.
I think that we have to accept the fact that it's uneven and just recognize that, realize that it is. It's always been. Life's not fair. This has always been true.
Yeah.
And I have to accept it. I can't control the variables. I don't understand all the variables. I don't understand why you haven't gotten it and I did. I might think it's not fair, Steve. You know what I'm saying? I might think that's not fair. I'm like, why did I get it? He didn't get it. You know, which I don't think, of course. I know. Just joking around. But it doesn't really matter because sometimes you can't overthink everything. And I think sometimes we just overthink everything. I've told people, when we're hiking and stuff, stop overthinking it. Just jump to the rock. You're overthinking it.
That's good. That's
You know what
good.
I'm saying? Just jump to the rock. Right. Stop thinking about it. The more you think about it, the less likely you're going to make a good jump.
I used to
just
tell,
do it. Be instinctive.
When I helped coach basketball, I used to tell my players that if you have to think about getting a rebound,
right,
it's too late.
Right, exactly.
You have to react.
To it.
You just have to do it.
And I think, by the way, as a leader, one of the things that I've done, there were certain directions we were going as a church. When we got our wave, we adjusted to it. And I think that's what leadership has to do. I think, and that's what the governor has to do. That's what anyone has to do, is you adjust to what you're seeing in front of you, because it's just like, oh, I didn't know that rock was coming up in the river. Well, as a leader, I don't hit it just because I didn't know it was coming. Once I see it in the river, I'm going to go around it, right? Or you're a crummy leader. So I think that, we all have to take the information that we have at hand and do the best we can with it. But I think, too, you got to embrace pain in the present. I mean, that's how I would handle the situation. And, not trying to, you can't control every variable. Don't try to figure it all out, and embrace the pain, because even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil. You're with me, your rod and your staff, they comfort me, right?
Yes, sir.
I hate COVID.
Right.
I hate what it's done to church attendance. But you know what the fact of the matter is? It is the valley that we're in. I'm not going to fear evil. I'm not going to be restless and scared of it, because I know God's with me through this valley. Yes. Right?
Right. That's right. And we look forward to coming out of the valley.
Right.
We don't have to be in the valley forever.
Right. We've had the worst attendance this year that we've had in over a decade, by far. It won't even be close. I mean, you've got to be going back attendance wise. I mean, back into the 2000s somewhere, 2007, 2008 be my guess. Maybe back in there, we might have had an attendance as low as what we've had this year.
Right.
I'm not worried about that. You know what I'm saying? I got to embrace it. That's my reality. People are scared of it. It's changed some things. That's reality. I'm willing to embrace it and acknowledge it and do the best I can with it. I'm not going to whine about it forever and not pout about it. I'm just going to say, that's my reality. I've got to embrace it. Let's do the best that we can.
That's right. I agree with you. I think in the long run, it'll work out, and attitudinally, it'll be good for us to look at it from that perspective.
Right. And your church is doing okay?
Yes, we are. We have, our attendance is almost normal, because we didn't have hundreds, but we do our precautions, and we have ultimatums. People can do the FM transmitter that you all turned me on to. We do that from the parking lot too.
Good.
So yeah, we're going on one Sunday at a time.
Right. That's all you can do. And you'll make the best decision if something happens to alter, like we had to for a few weeks. Okay. We had to change course for a few weeks. Now we're back to having services, but we recognize the fear that people have as well. But I still believe in keeping positive through all things and trusting God in all things. My goodness, we're supposed to be living out our faith, man.
Yeah.
And we're going to actually talk about that some in our next podcast
Okay.
that'll be coming up. It's actually we're going to turn towards Christmas. We're going to look at the genealogy of Christ and all the people that were in it and some of the crazy backgrounds they had and how some of those people became known for people of faith. And that's what I want us to be known for, I got to be a person of faith. Therefore, I trust God. I don't have to control every variable. I'm trusting him to do that stuff. I'm not trying to figure it out. He's the one that knows the reasons and the wherefores and why all these things happen. That's his business. That's not my business. And I'm going to embrace pain in the present. Yeah, it's hard. We're going to have suffering. That's how it is. We're Americans. We'll figure it out. We're Christians. We'll figure it out. We're going to do the best that we can. You're going to be okay, right?
That's right. I believe that. We're going to be all right.
Right, 100%. All right, thank you so much for tuning in to the Way to Go podcast. Hopefully it's been helpful to you. Jog some good thinking in your mind. Have a great and a blessed week.